I was born in Israel and grew up in Texas, so shalom you all. My name is Ori Brafman. I'm the author of 4 books, and my newest book is called The Chaos Imperative, about how we need little pockets of chaos in our organizations. The big idea that I've encountered is that the knowledge exists in the organization. And the question, your role as a manager, is how do you bring that knowledge from the edge of the network? It starts with this guy, Hernan Cortez. And he's marveled by and amazed by just how complicated the Aztec society is. Has roads, has pyramids, has infrastructure, but he's not there to do sightseeing. He takes the gold, but he also kills Montezuma. And within 2 years, which is a blink, right, of an eye, historically speaking, the entire Aztec civilization is conquered. And it's with the wind of victory on their backs that the Spanish encounter a different tribe, the Apache. And unlike the Aztecs, the Apache don't have any infrastructure. In fact, they even have a different leadership style. When a new leader gets killed by the Spanish, one just takes his place. And here is a fundamental issue. The harder the Spanish fought against the Apache, the stronger the Apache became. And what happens when you cut off the head of a spider? It dies. What happens when you take an arm off a starfish? It grows one back. Because the starfish does not have a central head. And think about that as a metaphor for what's happening in our society, in business. And we're going to look at 3 specific examples of where starfish organizations are changing the rules. Let me tell you about the Home Church Network and how it works. Instead of having a physical church, we have about 15 people and we all meet in people's houses. And once you grow beyond 15 people, you start a new network and you have 2 house churches. Oh, that's great. And then once those grow beyond 15 people, you have a new network as well. This is the biggest network that none of us have heard of. And they're especially powerful in China and in India. In China, you're not allowed to have a church. So what do? The harder you fight a starfish, the stronger it becomes. And it's because of the power of small circles. These small circles are incredibly effective. So how do you create walls where innovation can happen, where you can foster the chaos, where you can foster these levels of serendipitous encounters, and then spread them throughout their organization? Who is the head of the Tea Party, right? Is it this woman? Right? She claims to be, but she's not really the head of the Tea Party. This is the first blogger who came up with an idea of a Tea Party protest. Is he the head of the Tea Party? Is it this woman? Her name is Lady Liberty. She's a punk rocker from Seattle who started the first Tea Party protest. Go figure. Is she the head of the Tea Party? Or does it even matter? Entire network, the entire movement, is built upon people who take on a different form of leadership. They start something and they get out of the way. The question is, and this is really the million-dollar question here, is how do you harness the power of that chaos and bring it towards effective and positive results? How do you use it to create innovation? And that if you can harness the power of chaos, you're going to be more effective. In the Army, they learned this, how silly strings saved lives. And the Army tried to find out, how do you find out whether a room is booby-trapped or not? And tried radar, they tried everything, and then all of a sudden, a very low-level soldier comes up with the idea of silly string. And what he does is you spray silly string, it's a $1 solution, you spray it in the room, and if the room is booby-trapped, the silly string will hang on the string and won't detonate the bomb. It's small little ideas like this that are saving lives. The way that innovation happens is when ideas flow from different departments, from different people, when there's communication. And yet organizations oftentimes find themselves siloed. So the question is, how do you break these silos? How do you create more cross-communication? Albert Einstein Medical Center in Philadelphia, it's an inner city hospital, it's structured hierarchically, and the problem of MRSA was completely out of control. They had a different approach. They said, how do we tap the knowledge from the edge of the network? And they brought the janitor and many other people in the hospital into the meeting. And the janitor had a very simple realization. He said, you know what? Where there's a lot of infection, the garbage cans are empty. And when there's no infection, the garbage cans are overflowing with gloves. And instead of trying to create an entire system, what they did is they wrote the janitor's number on the supply closet. Anytime you run out of extra small gloves, we'll bring them to you, we'll bring you as many as you want. Small changes like this, and there were hundreds of small changes like this, that drew upon the knowledge that was already there in the network. The knowledge is at the edge of the network. The janitor knew better than the head of infectious control. Companies do a very good job sending knowledge down the chain of command. How do you get knowledge from the edge and send it up the chain of command? And imagine whether you're the head of the military, or whether you're a manager, or whether you're in a company, how do you change the context for people to feel safer to bring in new ideas? You change the nature of the conversation. You introduce a program where the janitor can have a voice. This entire concept and the tools that we can take from this is how do you create ownership, right? These are my ideas and the company has embraced them. And I think with that, you can start seeing really huge levels of innovation because people own it, and they own it in unpredictable ways, but they own it, and that's how real change happens.